Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, my name is Dr. Shamsul Mahmood and I am working as assistant professor in Islamabad College for Boys. आज हम सेकेंड क्लास केमिस्ट्री शुरू करेंगे जिसका चैप्टर नंबर 15 है और उसका पहला लेक्चर चैप्टर नंबर 15 जो है वो हमारे पास है ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स और today our lecture consists of four contents and first we will discuss about the definition of inorganic and organic compounds. And then I will talk about the sources of organic compounds. And next will be the coal as a source of organic compounds. And the last will be the characteristics of the organic compounds. So the first thing, there is some definitions about the organic and inorganic compounds. So previously, on the basis of the characteristics or the sources from the compounds, there were two main classes of the chemical compounds. One were called as inorganic compounds and second were called as the organic compounds. So the compounds which were of mineral origin were known as inorganic compounds. For example, table salts, marble or carbon dioxide. Similarly, those compounds which have vegetable or animal origin, they were called as organic compounds. For example, acetic acid that was obtained from the vinegar, alcohol from the wine, and tartaric acid from the grapes. So organic compounds, so that branch of chemistry that is concerned with the chemistry of living or materials or substances, alive they were alive at one time, they were called as the organic chemistry. Then in the modern it was found that all the organic compounds they have the carbon as essential constituent. So in modern definitions, all those compounds which contain carbon as an essential element along with hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, halogen, etc. They were called as the organic compound. For example, glucose, methane, benzene, or etc. But there are some exceptions. For example, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbon disulfide, carbonates, bicarbonates, cyanides, thiocyanates, they are studied in the inorganic chemistry because of their property. So the modern definition of the organic chemistry is organic chemistry is that branch of chemistry which deals with the study of compounds of carbon and hydrogens, which are called as the hydrocarbons and their derivatives. So in simple words, you can say organic chemistry is the study of hydrocarbons and their derivatives. Derivative means those compounds which are derived from these hydrocarbons, means different functional groups which are derived from these hydrocarbons. So these are some definitions, the old concept of the organic compounds and the modern concept of the organic compound. Then the first major topic, or you can say the second major topic of this one, this is the source of organic compounds. So there might be some short question about the sources of organic compound. So the major source of organic compound, these are the fossil remains. So the coal, petroleum and natural gas, they collectively called as the fossil fuels. So the main sources of organic compounds are coal, petroleum and natural gas. They are collectively called as the fossil fuels. So first I will discuss some about the coal. So like this one, so this is the black solid. So coal is the major source of organic compounds. So when we heat this coal in the absence of air and it is going to break, that is called as pyrolysis of destructive distillation. You get different things. So it yields coke and coal tar on pyrolysis of destructive distillation. In other words, you can say when you heat the coal in the absence of air, mean in the absence of oxygen, it converts into three things. Some gases, they're called as the coal gases. Some liquid, this is called as the coal tar. At the end, some black material that is called as the coke. So more than 200 organic compounds have been directly isolated from the coal tar. These coal tar products form the starting material for the manufacture of a thousand of useful aromatic compounds, including petroleum, drugs, dyes, photographic developers and others. So this coal tar means it's a liquid, and different fractions are separated of this coal tar on the basis of a technique that's called fractional distillation. So you separate these different fractions on the basis of their boiling point, that is called as fractional distillation. So second source, that is the petroleum. So in some parts of the world, a black, thick, sticky liquid seeps out of the ground. That thick material is called as the petroleum, or generally it is called as the crude oil. So this crude oil of petroleum is a mixture of different hydrocarbons whose composition varies according to its place of the occurrence. So this crude oil consists different kerosene oil, petrol, diesel, different fractions. This is collectively called as the petroleum or the crude oil. And then these fractions are separated on the basis of fractional distillation. Next, third source, that is the natural gas. So it's a mixture of low boiling hydrocarbon. Major portion of natural gas is the methane, about 85%. Other gases include ethane, propane, and butane. It formed by the decomposition of the organic matter. So the major source of the organic compound, this is the fossil fuels, and these fossil fuels further divide into three kinds, mean coal, petroleum, and the natural gas. So they make the maximum percentage of the organic compound. So the plants are also very important source of the organic compound. You know, the different medicine, different compounds, they are isolated from the plants which are used as a medicine, and there are number of organic compounds, number of natural products, they are separated from the plants. So the plants, they are the source of the organic compound. The organic compound directly from the plants or the animal source by the suitable methods of the isolation. So different organic compounds can be obtained by the isolation. So in the organic chemistry, there are two kinds of branches, mean organic synthesis and the isolation. So you isolate different compound from the plants. A very familiar example of the, for example, the carbohydrates, proteins, mean alkaloids, they all are from the plants. You can get from the plants. For example, quinine, morphine, they all are obtained from the plants. So then the next there is the partial and total synthesis. So some compounds, they are made in the laboratory, that is called synthesis. There are two types of synthesis, maybe partial or the total synthesis. So simple organic compound that derived from the petroleum or coal has been converted into thousands of useful material by synthetic methods. So many examples might be cited of synthetic organic compounds replacing those obtained from the natural sources. So most of them, you made those compounds in the laboratory, which has more useful properties as compared to the natural sources. For example, in many cases, the synthetic materials are superior to the natural compounds replaced. For example, synthetic dyes are superior to those of the natural origin. In other cases, the synthetic material is entirely unknown in nature and fill the requirements not satisfied from any other source. For example, glycol, mercurochrome, aspirin, and sulfur drugs. So synthetic organic chemistry touches almost every phase of the life. So there may be total synthesis or maybe the partial synthesis. So total synthesis means you are going to make the organic compound from very simple starting material, and it involves number of steps. Partial synthesis means you are making the compound by using a very suitable intermediate, and you made that one. So this is called as the partial synthesis. And so this synthetic organic chemistry is very developed in these days for the making number of compounds. So then another source, that is the fermentation. Fermentation is the production of chemicals by the action of microorganisms. This is simply decay with the help of microorganism, that is called as fermentation. So different organic compounds, for example, alcohol or bread, they are made by the fermentation process. So by employing appropriate organism host of useful substances are producing, including alcohol, acids, vitamins, and antibiotics. So these are the different sources of organic compounds. So if I revise this one, so the major source of organic compound, they are the fossil fuels. In the fossil fuel, we have the coal, natural gas, petroleum. Plants are another source of the organic compounds. Partial synthesis, total synthesis mean you made these organic compounds in the laboratory, and then fermentation. So by the biological decay of the by use of the microorganism, you make different compounds. So this is the important topic, the sources of organic compounds. Now come to the third topic or the third point, that is the coal. So there is a short question about the coal, mean coal as a source of organic compound. So main thing is the coal. We know this coal is the main source of organic compound. So coal that is produced by the decay of trees buried under the earth crust under the influence of temperature and pressure. These got converted into the coal. So as I said previously, this coal is the major mixture of organic compound. So when you heat this coal in the absence of air, that technique is called as destructive distillation, and you get different fractions. So when coal is heated in the absence of air, the temperature might range from 500 degree to 1000 degree. It is converted into coke, coal gas, and coal tar. Coal tar contains a large number of organic compounds which separate out on fractional distillation. So fractional distillation is the technique for the separation of liquids on the basis of boiling point. Total coal reserves of Pakistan are estimated by the Geological Survey of Pakistan to be 184 billion tons. So this is simple diagram for showing the destructive distillation. So this is your sealed tube and you are having the coal into that. So you heat that one coal. So after heating, some gases are produced, some liquid is produced. So passing through this tube, there are some gases which goes up over here. That is called as the coal gas. And the some liquid, and you add some water into that, so into mix over there. And at the bottom, you know, this is the organic compound, so it will not mix with the water. This is the coal tar. And if there is some ammonia gases, it will dissolve into water and it is called liquid ammonia or ammonia liquid. You can simply say the liquid ammonia. So this is the flow chart diagram for the destructive distillation of the coal. So when we perform the destructive distillation, we have different things. So this is the flow chart diagram of the different fractions obtained from the coal when it is heated in the absence of air, that is destructive distillation. And major three things: coal gas, this is the coal tar, and the coke. Maybe ammonium liquor, as I said, ammonia, some carbon gas. So the coal gas, again, it consists of different parts. For example, it has benzol, or it has the methane, it might have cyanides or the sulfur compounds. And when the coal tar, it is heated and different fractions are separated on the basis of boiling point, that technique is called as fractional distillation, and we get different fractions of that. For example, first you get might be benzene compounds, toluene, xylene, naphthalene. They all are the derivative of the benzene, or the phenol. You know, the benzene having OH group, that's called as the phenol, and many others. So they all are the different aromatic compounds which are obtained by the destructive distillation of the coal tar, and we are getting this coke. So this flow chart diagram is important. It might be given in the short question, that what discuss the coal as a source of organic compound and what fractions are obtained after the destructive distillation of coal. It is a very good short question and it can be given. The next topic, that is the characteristics of the organic compound. And characteristics of organic compound, first I need to discuss that, you know, the organic compound, they are covalent compounds. and they are generally non-polar. So alkane series, they are the non-polar compound, and the covalent properties are different than the ionic. So the covalent compounds are formed by the sharing of electron, and because they are formed the sharing of electron, they are non-polar, and no ions, no electrons are available, and they are less stable. So keeping in mind these points, we can discuss their properties as compared to the ionic reactions. The ionic, these are the ions, positive and negative ions. So these positive and negative ions, they are very fast reactions, and electric current can pass through these positive and negative ions. But in the covalent compounds, electric current is not going to pass. So on the keeping in mind the previous knowledge of the organic compound, mean covalent bonds and the ionic one, we have some characteristics of the organic compound. So first is the composition. So composition, carbon is the essential constituent of all organic compounds. We know that the organic compound, this is the basically chemistry of carbon compound. So this carbon is very essential. The carbon is the major element, and it is making the main branch of chemistry, the organic chemistry, and it is based on the carbon. So carbon is the major component. So because when they have the major high percentage of carbon, they are easily combustionable. So they are going to burn. So the carbon compound, they generally burn in the presence of air. So organic compound with a higher percentage of carbon are generally combustionable in nature, melting and boiling points. So we know that the organic compounds are made up by the covalent bond. So organic compounds generally have low melting and boiling points and are volatile in nature. Volatile means they are going to easily evaporate, just like petrol. So it is going to easily evaporate. They have low boiling point and low melting point. Solubility, as I said, organic compound non-polar linkage. Further, methane, ethane, propane, they are the non-polar. They are generally soluble in organic solvents such as alcohol, ether, or the benzene. They are less soluble in water because organic compounds are non-polar and the water is the polar. So like dissolved like. Then the stability. So as I said, the covalent bonds are less stable as compared to the ionic bonds. So organic compounds have low melting and boiling point. They are generally decomposed at high temperature into simpler substances. So they are very sensitive to heat. So when you heat high temperature, they are going to decompose. Electrical conductivity. So as I said, that for the passage of electric current, there might be free electrons, there might be free ions, but in the covalent compounds, in the organic compound, there is no free ions or no free electrons are available. So they are bad conductor of electricity. So due to presence of covalent bonds, organic compounds are poor conductor of electricity, both in fused state and in the solution form. For example, if we have a sugar, so they all have the covalent bond. So if it has a solid form, if you dissolve into water, or if you melt it, mean you fuse it, the current is not going to pass because they are the covalent bonds, no free ions, no free electrons are available. So these covalent compounds, they are the bad conductor of electricity. Source, most of the organic compounds are obtained from plants and animal sources. So as we discussed earlier, so there are different sources of the organic compounds. And the last point is the rate of reaction, means speed of reaction. You know that the ionic reaction, they are very fast, positive and negative ion, they are going to combine very quickly. But the covalent reaction, they are slow reaction because they're first breaking off bond and then making off bond. So the rates of reaction are very slow and they need specific condition. So they need more time. There is a possibility that it takes reaction 24 hours or 1 day, 2 days. And for that purpose, we add some catalyst. And we know that the catalyst are those which speed up the reaction. So this technique that is called the catalysis. So today we discuss these four topics. First we talk about some definitions. Then we talk about the sources of organic compounds. Then we move toward the one major source, that is the coal, and the last characteristics of the organic compound. So this is our four topics we discussed today. So if you have any question, you can ask me in the comment box and we will discuss. Thanks for watching this video.